Hey guys, welcome back. So in today's video, I'm doing a 1920s makeup tutorial. So it is Wedding Wednesday, and if you're wondering why is she wearing the 1920s look on Wedding Wednesday, the reason is because our wedding is 1920s themed, but I had mentioned on my videos that I was not planning on doing a 1920s makeup look, but I am doing a 1920s hairstyle and kind of jewelry, but I'm definitely not doing the makeup look. But I thought it would be fun since I had been asked to actually recreate a 1920s makeup look. So a few key factors you'll notice: I don't have the sides of my lips filled out. It's weird. I have the Cupid's bow really accentuated. I have very rounded eyes and the deep gray accentuating the crease and not the elongated feature. My brows continue like way lower than I normally take them. I have no angular stuff going on in my cheeks. It's just pink blush right on the center of the cheeks and very pale skin. All the products I use in today's tutorial are drugstore. So I did that on purpose because I wanted to make sure that if you're using this as a Halloween tutorial, you could find the products, and none of them, as far as I know, have been like discontinued or anything. So let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and do my eyes because I don't want to have any fallout. The colors I'm going to be using in my eyes are going to be very dark, and we don't want to take a chance with that. So I'm going to lay down a base. This is the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil, and this is in dark brown. I would have preferred black or gray even, but I didn't have that in a drugstore version. I'm just going to apply this to the eyelid and stop it in the crease. The biggest thing you want to do in the 1920s look is we're not doing a cat eye. We're not like dragging the eye out and making it look elongated. We're making it look like that crease is really deep set and it's very rounded. Alright, now that we have a nice base down, as nice as it can look at this point, I'm going to be using the Maybelline the Blush Nudes palette for this because there's some gray in here and then the brow bone shades that I want to use. So I'm going to go on top of that eye pencil we just laid down with the e.l.f. blending brush, and I'm using the grayest, the dark matte gray in this palette, and I'm going right on top of what I just laid down. The color below it, beneath it, was just to make sure that it was dark. So now we're just like tinting that pencil we just laid down, we're tinting it this color. So I am not going above the crease at all. I'm actually really carving in that crease, making it very pronounced. Okay, so now I'm going to take this dirty brush and set it aside, and then I'm switching to the e.l.f. crease brush. The only thing I'm using this crease brush for is to clean up above the crease. I'm trying not to touch the brush into the dark gray. I'm merely keeping it at that line. I'm removing just a little bit of the harshness. I'm using the e.l.f. contour brush. It's just a tiny little flat brush, and I'm using like the white shade in here. And I'm just going to place that under the brow. And I'm kind of using it to clean up the area that I smudged a little bit at the crease. I'm not accenting the inner corner. Accenting the inner corner, why we do it now, is it brings the light outwards. It catches the light here and it makes your eyes look farther apart, and it makes them look like more elongated maybe. And we don't want to do that. In the 1920s, it was about having round features, round, you know, a round face, and the round eye look was in, so that's what we're going to do. So another big feature for the eyes, or for the 1920s, was they had their brows very rounded, very thin, and the line extended down far, like almost to the end of the eye. So today I'm using the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil. This is in neutral brown. There's one darker shade. There's like dark brown, neutral brown, taupe, and I think there's like one more shade. So I'm going to not accentuate the fact that my brows have a natural arch. And I'm actually taking the brow down in the front So they look almost more like a rainbow. It's kind of what we want our brows to look like. That is a hot mess right there. But I could clean up the top of them, but I'm actually just going to leave it. Now, you could clean it up by using like Elmer's glue and then covering it, literally covering your eyebrows so you have 0 eyebrows and then filling them in like this. This is more for the average person and not the professional makeup artist. So just wanted you to know that you could do that. Like end of the brow thing though, like kills me. Okay. Well, I would blend them out. I'm just going to blend them out just a little. Okay, so for liner, I'm using a gel liner. This is in Blackout by Crown. Basically just a black liner. You could use liquid. I also had here the e.l.f. liquid liner. I'm going to try this one today. And it's hard, but for me to remember, I am not going to do a wing of any sort. So we're just lining that actual upper lash line. And I'm keeping the line just as thick on the inner corner. I'm not making the line any thinner on the inner corner. It's not too obvious since I have dark shadow on, but I swear there's liner there. The eyes are almost done, but we are going to go ahead and use what's left on this brush of the liner, and I'm going to line the lower lash line, but I'm going to wait until after I finish my face. So I'm just going to set this brush aside, and then after I finish like my concealer, then I'll do the lower lash line. I'm using the Wet n Wild Mega Volume Mascara for the top lashes. If you wanted this to look more glamorous, like for Halloween or something like that, you could definitely apply false lashes. But remember, it wasn't about the outer lashes here being like pointing outward. That wasn't really a big thing back then. So, you know, just rounded lashes. Okay, for the face, I'm going to be using a very pale foundation. You can tell this is not my skin tone. This is actually the L'Oreal True Match foundation in Light Ivory W2. I often use W3, which is a little light, darker. So this is one of my lightest foundations at the moment, and it is drugstore. So I'm going to just put a little bit on my hand and put this all over my face. The makeup in this era was associated with women who were on stage. Wow, that is light. Women who were on stage or prostitutes. So the average woman did not want to be associated with either of those things. And also, a tan complexion still could mean that you were a person who worked outdoors, or like that you weren't indoors a lot. So that actually meant that you were probably poor, of a lower social class. So people often used foundation that was much lighter than their natural skin tone, just so they would look like a porcelain lady. Oh my goodness, I am pale. Guys, I have used this foundation before, like on a regular, in the dead of winter, so this is pretty funny. I will keep this though, because there probably will be days when I want to do a lighter tutorial, so it's always good to have it. So you definitely want to, you know, take it down far. Alright, now I'm going into the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser for Dark Circles. This is in Fair. So this is my lightest concealer that I own. Press that in. Alright, and then I'm going in with this e.l.f. clarifying powder. This is in Ivory as well. And it is my lightest powder. Oh my gosh, it's still too dark. How funny. The 1920s were not about being subtle. They were definitely not. Once it became socially acceptable for women to wear makeup, they took off running. They were like dark eyes, bright lips. So, yeah, it started with, I'm just touching up that eye product. It started out with women being a little bit embarrassed to be known to be wearing makeup, and I heard that like they would go through the back door of the pharmacy or wherever it is they got their makeup because they didn't want to be seen entering through the front door because it wasn't like cool to get makeup. And many women would wear it, just touching up my brows, would wear makeup just to cover up imperfections. You know, they were just trying to mask a certain problem or whatever. But once it became acceptable, boy, they took off running. Okay, so now I'm using this Revlon blush. This is a cream blush in Flushed, and basically it's just like one of their photo ready cream blushes. And I'm using the e.l.f. stipple brush. Just getting a little bit. And they did not use the angular contour, the angled blush, or even, they did it on the cheeks there, and they did it in a circular motion. So this blush may be a little heavy, but what the heck, it's going to be Halloween, right? Now I'm taking a clean stippling brush by e.l.f., the small stipple brush, and I'm just buffing that in just a little bit. Don't want to look like a clown. So I'm taking that cream liner brush, and I'm actually just going to ring around the lower lash line. And then I'm going to take my blending brush and just kind of blend that a little bit. Alright, so the biggest distinguishing factor for the 1920s makeup are the lips. They were made famous, I think, by Clara Bow. Right now I'm just going to take a makeup wipe and clean the foundation off my lips. Oh no, I shouldn't have done that. So if you'll notice when I put on my foundation, I put my foundation over my lips. So right now I just took a makeup wipe and I was removing it from my lips, and then I remembered I did that for a reason. Because in the 1920s it wasn't cool to have big lips. That's not what everybody wanted. What they wanted was a distinguished Cupid's bow. So the Cupid's bow in the center would be really up high, and then they wouldn't even fill in the outer lips. It was good to have center of your lips be large, and then the outer part, who cares? So I'm actually not even going to be filling in my entire lip. It's going to be mostly just the center. I'm using a Crown lip liner. This is in Fuego. Any red lip liner will do. The biggest thing you want to do before I start talking and trying to do this at the same time is accentuate the Cupid's bow. So that's what I'm going to do first, starting up at the actual Cupid's bow. And then you also wanted the accentuation to be on the lower lip and the center, not the sides. Similar to this shape. So I'm going to fill that shape in with my liner real quick. And now I'm just kind of perfecting the shape with the liner. I am going to have some lining here on the outer lips, but it's just going to be very thin. But I'd like you to note that my actual lip ends here. And I'm not actually lining that part. The other option you could do is you could put your lip on completely and then just go in with a concealer and clean up wherever you want to remove the stuff. But I did a very dramatic Cupid's bow. There's no shimmer on my face. I did not do a highlight. I did not bronze because it's not good to be bronzed. It means you're outdoors and working hard. So now I'm going to apply a red lipstick. And the shade of red that you use really depends on the time of the 20s and things like that. But I've seen everything from a super bright red to a super deep vampy red to slightly more berry cherry reds. So it's really up to you. I'm going to use Wet n Wild's Cherry Bomb. This is number 918D. I'm going to use a little bit of a lip brush. You have to be very careful when you do this because as I just did, I pressed my lips together, which then ruined the Cupid's bow, so now I have to fix it. What do we think? Alright guys, this is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed this 1920s tutorial. It's a fun part of Wedding Wednesdays because I am getting married and I am doing a 1920s theme for the wedding, but I have decided not to go with this look. Can you blame me? So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you want to see for Wedding Wednesdays in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye.